Hello everyone, welcome back to TGN Anime. Today we have some serious hints at Kabuto being one of the final characters in the game, as well as the final jutsu for Yamato. So far we knew 2 of his jutsu, and now we have the final one. The website has also been updated with Sai's jutsu, though we already knew what all of his jutsu were. Nevertheless, we're gonna look into it because the descriptions might tell us if there's some surprise effect on his jutsu. That's what today's video is gonna be all about, and let's jump into it with perhaps the biggest thing. Kabuto confirmed? Question mark. It's still a big question, but there have now been 2 hints at Kabuto. The first one was a screenshot from V-Jump magazine, and this is a screenshot that comes from a loading screen in the game. That's right, ever since the beta, the loading screens have evolved. Now they have some sharper looking images. They have released alongside this screenshot that shows Kabuto, they have released some other ones. People have seen this thing and said, oh, we can summon frogs. That is not a frog, that is a salamander. So as much as I would want this to be another hint at Jiraiya being in the game, it's actually just something that makes things confusing. I mean, who the hell summons a salamander? I guess Sazori summons a salamander, but that's like a puppet salamander, not a real one. There's one of those Paths of Pain that also summons a salamander, but it's all, you know, pierced out. Other than that, I can only think of Hanzo the salamander, but that's just a nickname. He never really summoned any salamanders, so that's just kind of confusing. But back to our point, Kabuto shows up in one of these wallpapers. You can see Kabuto there, standing next to a giant snake. And my first thought was, well, this is just one of those missions, right? Recently, Bandai Namco have been tweeting a bunch of missions and a bunch of boss fights as well, and this could just be one of those. That doesn't mean that Kabuto will be playable or anything. It's kind of a hint, a small hint that he'll be playable, but nowhere near a confirmation. And now we actually got a second hint, which again does not confirm anything, but oh boy, that's a lot of hints to ignore, you know? And the second hint comes from a video that they posted on Twitter. It's a mission versus the Shukaku of the Sand. And during this mission, the character is playing with a created avatar, a ranged type character, just 1v1 versus the Shukaku, and there's this point right there at the beginning, where the character goes by this billboard, and in this billboard, you can see Kabuto standing next to Yamato, Sai, and Gaara. Yamato, Sai, and Gaara, already announced and confirmed characters. What is Kabuto doing there? They're standing side to side like if they were buddies. It's the second hint at Kabuto being playable, and I'm starting to believe it. Now, we have some limited slots left. Which role do you think he will fill? I mean, we do have 2 slots still available on the heal types. And Kabuto being in Sage mode and all of that, it makes sense for him to be a heal type because of all his regeneration. And at the same time, we already have a Sage mode as a defense type, that being Mitsuki. And first, when we were predicting our roster, I said that Mitsuki would probably be a heal type precisely because of Sage mode. Now, I don't believe Kabuto will be a defense type because there's only 1 slot left, and that's gonna be Zabuza, and you know it. But the main reason why I don't think he's gonna be a defense type is because Mitsuki is already there. We already have a Sage mode transformation for defense types. So I think if Kabuto is bringing some Sage abilities into the game, they could very well give this Sage mode to heal types, perhaps. I don't think it makes sense for attack types. They already have way too many power-up moves. Like, they have the 8 gates, they have the 7 heavenly breaths, which look very similar. So in the end, they could actually just give Kabuto to the defense types, and then you can pick, do you want Sage mode Mitsuki or do you want Sage mode Kabuto? They both do the same. Heal type, that's gonna be my prediction for Kabuto if he makes it in. But that's just my opinion. I would love to know what you think. Where do you think he fits in this tiny roster? Alright, those are the hints at Kabuto. No confirmation, just 2 small hints. They're starting to pile up. With that, we move on to some confirmed stuff. The website has been updated once again. And the website shows us some interesting stuff, namely the abilities for Yamato. We had 2 abilities already discovered. We didn't have that description, so now we have that as well. But more importantly, we have the confirmation of his final jutsu, which is the Smothering Binding Jutsu. So why don't we start with that precisely? Yamato, with this technique, will trap the target with wood. The targets will have their attack power reduced and stay trapped either for a certain period of time or until they get attacked. Which means you will trap the target, and if someone in your team starts attacking them, they better start dealing some damage, because if they throw a kunai, the target will be released, and that's kind of a waste. So yeah, perfect combo sort of jutsu, I guess. His other ninjutsu is the domed wall jutsu, which we actually have already seen in action, but now we have the description as well, and it says that it creates a domed wall of wood that elapses after a certain period of time, or after receiving constant damage, meaning if you're attacking that wall over and over and over and over again, it will eventually go down. Enemies caught in the formation of the wall will also receive damage. And that is an interesting fact, because we already have a couple of walls in this game. We have the mud wall, we have other walls that I can't think of right now. I guess the sand shield is what I'm thinking about, but those don't seem to damage the enemy when you put them up. So that is something interesting and unique about the domed wall jutsu. If you put it up and there's an enemy right in front of you, they're gonna get damaged. Finally, his secret jutsu, the secret wood style jutsu, Deep Forest Emergence. The description reads that this jutsu creates trees and manipulates them as desired. The targets caught in this jutsu become trapped. They are also unable to block. The targets stay trapped for a certain period of time or until they get attacked. So it's kind of like the smothering biting jutsu, but an area of effect. Instead of it trapping a single target, it just traps everyone. Which again just reminds me of the water prison jutsu that we had in the closed beta. It traps a bunch of people that it catches, and then they are free after a certain period of time or after you attack them. It seems like a very, very similar jutsu. Still don't have any idea why anyone would pick this over the water prison. What are the advantages, the disadvantages? I'm looking forward to learning more about it. Now let's close this video with Sai. We already knew all of Sai's abilities, but the descriptions reveal some surprises. Also, one of them is kind of confusing, so let's not delay, let's get into it. But let's start with the Super Beast Scroll, the Lion. I think I've called this one the Tiger previously. I'm not sure if I called it the Tiger, but I think I did. I think I've been calling it the Tiger this whole time. The website, it translates as the Lion. I'm gonna call it the Lion for this video, even though I'm pretty sure I already saw a translation as the Tiger. Let's say Lion for now. The technique of materializing the lion drawn with a brush. This is gonna be the start of every description for Sai's ability. It materializes stuff that you draw with a brush. Multiple lions rush towards the target. When they hit the target, they deal damage and decrease their movement speed. Okay, so this is a chase down technique. If someone is running away with your flag, for instance, you throw the lions out, it will reduce their movement speed, damage them a little bit as well, hopefully knock the flag out of their backs. Or if someone's running towards a control point or something, it's a chase down type of maneuver. Next, the Super Beast Scroll Bird, a technique to make a huge bird drawn with a brush. The bird rushes towards the target and catches any enemy who touches it. Interesting. The choice of words here is very interesting. It catches an enemy. It flies and catches an enemy. I wonder if it just takes them away. After a certain period of time has passed, it can be printed as black ink. I'm just as confused as you are. I'm not even gonna try to speculate on this one. I don't understand it. I'm gonna wait for a translation or a video that showcases it. I really don't know. Next up, the Super God Imitating Drawing. Sai's secret jutsu, a technique that draws out the gods with a brush. The gods will attack rushing towards the target. They deal damage to every target they hit, along with decreasing both their attack and defense power. So it's both an attack that damages and debuffs the enemy. It's not unusual with other jutsu that we've seen in the game so far, but it sounds good. It sounds like a reliable jutsu. A little bit boring in the range type loadouts. I think range types have some more interesting secret jutsu, but it could be useful given the right situations. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to actually play the game to know how reliable this stuff is. And that's gonna do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of these abilities, but more importantly, where do you think Kabuto fits in the Shinobi Striker roster? Is he an attack type, range, defense, or heal type? Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Last time around, we analyzed the first ever barrier battle gameplay, which has a lot of new stuff. Check out this video right here if you want to learn more about Shinobi Striker. If you're in the mood for something else, there's also the video at the bottom, but as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Boy.